Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we have our very first look at the Tier 7 Premium Light Cruiser for the Russians. Not the Kutuzov or the Kuchazov. No, this one is the Ochikov. That's the best I got. I hope that's how it's spelled or how it's pronounced. I apologize if it isn't. Let's get into the commander. Nikolai Kuznetsov. We have Norman Scott and Isoroku Yamamoto as our inspirations. We are running Beyond Range, Intuitive, Punch Through, Fixated, and EOP. Now, this can be changed depending on what you want. May end up switching it out for Fully Packed because you really do miss the fire chance on these Russian cruisers. So that's something that I may be switching myself. But for the match that you're about to see, we have EOP on. Alright, so let's get into the actual build of the ship. We are running Aiming Systems Mod 1. We are running Steering Gears Mod 2. We are running Concealment System Mod. That can also be swapped out if you want for either steering gears or target. Most probably would be steering gears, just to be able to turn better. Then, of course, Main Battery Mod 3 as our final equipment slot. Alright, so let's look at our loadout. We are running the Community Contributor flag, the permanent camo that comes with the ship. We have sonar, radar, and a heal, but no smoke. Keep that in mind. Survivability, 34,730 hit points. Artillery, you got 8 152mm guns and a standard load or standard layout on the ship. Two double turrets in the front, 2 double turrets in the rear. 17.7 kilometer max firing range. With this build, you could probably bump that up if you wanted to. Reload time, 5.1 seconds. 180-degree turn time is 15.9. Not bad, not bad. It's not great, but it's not terrible. Fire chance with EOP on is only 6%. You take EOP off, that goes up to 12%. AP shell damage max is 3465. Torpedoes are actually relatively long range for this thing. I believe the Kuchazov also gets 8-kilometer torpedoes, but you get 533mm torpedoes. They're quintuple launchers off either side of the ship. They reload at 131 seconds, and they do maximum of 15,100 damage. But they are very sneaky at 1.1 kilometer torpedo range detectability. Torpedo range is 8 kilometers, like I said, and the speed is 65 knots, so not bad. Not fast, but not slow. Oop, too far. Maneuverability, 35 knot top speed, so not bad. It's up there for the cruisers. It's not super fast, but it's up there. 750-meter turning circle. That is the one thing I will say about this. Even though you can get it to where it's shifty, like right now the rudder shifts 6 seconds, you could get that down further if you wanted. The turning circle still, this ship takes a long time to turn. Even after you started turning, like it just doesn't complete a circle very quickly, so keep that in mind. Concealment. Detectability with this build is 11.9 kilometers, which is not particularly good, which is why I say you might just drop that concealment mod altogether and go with something like, oh crap. I forget what it was already. Anyway, you guys heard what I said. But anyway, guaranteed detectability is always 2, and detectability by error 7.5. Alright, so armor layout. You have just 26 millimeters of bow and stern armor, which means you can be overmatched by 15-inch guns and above. So keep that in mind. Anything with 15-inch guns can go straight through your bow and will citadel the ever-living crap out of you. And same goes for the stern. So when you're kiting away, you've got to be extremely careful because you get citadeled really easily through the back. And when I say really easily, I mean really easily. So we get rid of that armor, get rid of the superstructure armor. We don't care about the deck armor really either. Let's look at the Citadel. Citadel is a raised Citadel. It is actually substantially raised. It's not quite halfway to the deck line in the front, but as you can see, the deck line in the rear is much lower. It is about halfway to the deck. So, and it extends from the rearmost turret to the frontmost turret. So it is a very easy target to hit citadels on. And like I said, it's very close to the rear of the ship, meaning if you get overmatches through the rear, you can easily detonate this thing. Dev strike it, I mean. So keep that in mind. I've been dev struck in this one a couple times already, so not a particular fan. So let's move on to the overview. Sure shot. Shells with a good ballistic trajectory, maintain velocity, making aiming easier. This is the Russian perk. Reloader, above average main battery reload speed. Modest guns. Ship is armed with low caliber main battery guns. It's a light cruiser. Ochakov. One of the versions of a project of a small light cruiser, MLK-8152. Her main battery artillery consisted of dual-purpose 152mm mounts, developed in the United States of America, the USSR, in the mid-1940s. She was designed in 1950. So, yeah, there's that. It's not a particularly bad-looking ship, though I'll be real honest, it's not for me. You guys know I'm not a fire starter kind of guy. It's just not really my play style. This thing is capable of getting up close and personal, but you're not going to want to do it a whole lot. You're going to want to keep your distance in this thing. But we're going to showcase a little bit of everything in this match, so hopefully you're ready. And with that being said, let's get to the gameplay. Alrighty, so we're going to be on north, and we get the weird spawn. We're on the outside looking in, which is not preferable. However, there are nothing but cruisers and battleships in this game, so there's that. This thing, however, I'm going to showcase, why I think you might want to put EOP off for this ship. Maybe, I haven't played with any of the Russian ships that are fire starters, like the Kutuzov or anything like that, since the EOP got nerfed. So I still had EOP on all my ships, wasn't thinking about it. But yeah, you definitely miss that fire chance in these. Now, in the Americans, it's not that big a deal, because you can get a lot more damage because you have a lot more guns. But with the Russians, you don't have that many guns. You definitely need that extra fire chance in these, in my opinion. I could be wrong. It's to each their own. Now, obviously, intuition is showing us straight ahead there's a ship. It's pretty obvious. They always spawn one out here with me. So we're going to be heading this direction. We also are going to get a little bit of help from our, I want to say it's a Siegfried, but it might not be. I think it's a British, actually. I think it's the Surrey. I think it's a Tier 6 British heavy cruiser, the Surrey. That's going to come over here with us to the right. And we're going to run right into an Azuma. Now, here's the crazy thing about this ship and the Azuma. Even with the concealment mod and everything, I have worse concealment than the Azuma does. Oh, it's a Cheshire. Sorry. I thought it was Surrey, but it's a Cheshire. So, even better. Anyway, so we're going to keep pushing ahead. We know there's somebody out here. We know it's likely a cruiser, so that's why I'm not too worried about going straight at him. Because, depending on the cruiser, I should have no problem being able to close the distance and take it out. However, it's an Azuma. That's a whole other ballgame. Those are battleship caliber guns looking at me. That's not what I want to see. If this man loads AP, I'm a dead man. And his HE hurts really bad too. He may have just scored a Citadel with his HE. I could be wrong. But he hit me real hard. Which is why I say this thing is not for me. Like, there's just, I don't like this style of gameplay. You can see Chappie is shooting across the islands at me, trying to hit me. And so I go into what this ship is very, very good at, which is kiting away. And we're going to get plenty of kiting in this match. Now, we'd already launched one set of torpedoes. Azuma is kind of backtracking now. We're going to try to keep setting them on fire here if we can. I know we haven't set a fire yet, but the Cheshire definitely did. And so we're going to try to set this man on fire. He's moving forward now. And now that we know he's moving forward, we're going to look, and we're going to go a little bit ahead of where we think he's going to go, just in case he turns in a little sharper. Now, obviously, with him going broadside, this gives us a chance to test out our AP, but he's not flat broadside. He's still angled relatively well to us, and you'll see we don't really get a whole lot. It's not bad, 1,500 damage at this range. Not bad, but not quite what we were hoping for either. And you can see you got to get out of the way of those things, because they're going to hurt. Can't be taking too many hits in this thing. You want to avoid everything that you can. Now, good news is, he completely stops dead in his tracks, and that's actually going to cause him to get torped here. He's going to catch a torp. I think it's only one, though. But he does shoot at us again. We get the rear guns off. We're going to turn back in, and he takes a couple hits here, but not as bad. 2 good penetrations for him for 1,600 with the HE. When we get the torp hit, you can see he's already hurt. Now, if we get another if we get a fire on him, that's going to be it for him. And I believe, yeah, you can see him immediately getting set on fire by the Cheshire. and he's trying to shoot the Cheshire. Now, if this Azuma, like I said, if this Azuma had loaded AP for either me or the Cheshire, he'd have killed us by now. At least one of us. But he doesn't. He doesn't load AP, at least not yet. And with the Cheshire closing in like that, it's just a matter of time before that Cheshire finishes him off. At close range, the Cheshire's AP could easily citadel him, but he was going straight in for that torp hit, and he does manage to take him out. So we trade a Cheshire for an Azuma. That's a pretty decent trade for my match, you know what I'm saying? So I don't mind that one at all. But that being said, we've got Odin out here. Pretty long range shots with 15, 16 kilometers for these. But as you can see, they're not a real high arcing shell. Now that does cause some issues when you're trying to shoot over the top of islands and stuff, as you'll see here in a moment. Unlike the Americans who can shoot over just about everything, they can park right next to this big mountain and somehow manage to get the shells over the top of it and shoot somebody. But the Russians don't get that part of it. So that's why they tend to be wide open water kiters, and at least in my opinion, that's what they generally end up doing, is you just see them floating around at mid to long range and trying to dodge as many shells as possible. Now, Odin is going whole ham on trying to get to this Massachusetts and Torpid. And this is where the Massachusetts really should have been trying to go forward and turn out. The one advantage that American battleships have over German battleships is the fact that they have accuracy. Now, the Odin's pretty accurate for a German battleship because it only has the 305mm guns. But it still has 6-kilometer torpedoes. And up close and personal, you can see the Massachusetts fired into the bow armor there. Didn't get any damage. And then gets a nice return fire from the Odin. As we're trying to set this Odin on fire, we finally get a fire on him. We're taking shells from the Chappie. We're going to try to shoot back at the Chappie. And you can see that the Siegfried has come across to this side to help as well. He's a long ways away from being able to shoot anything, but he is shooting at the Odin, which is good. He actually has bigger guns than the Odin has, which is hilarious. But Siegfrieds are really, really tough to deal with in cruisers. I haven't gotten a chance to test out my Balti against them, but I know most cruisers just struggle to take out Siegfrieds. They're very, very tanky for a cruiser. Borderline battleship tanky. Now, obviously, they have that weak bow and stern armor, but for a cruiser to take on a Siegfried, that doesn't matter because still don't have enough to overmatch the bow or stern armor of a Siegfried. But Odin turns all the way back around, and you can see manages to finish off the Massachusetts with torps as we start trying to set another fire. We know he's already damaged conned once. If we can get a fire on him, he'll burn to death. And you can see I'm measuring up torpedoes on him, still trying to fire the rear guns. You can see I'm going straight into kiting again. But we've got 50,000 damage. We're doing pretty well considering. And you can see he's actually fired AP at us, gets a decent penetration there, knocks out one of our guns. I could fix that right now, but I'm worried that if I fix it, I'm going to get set on fire. And so I just don't fix it. And look at those torpedoes spread apart perfectly to say, hey, just sail through here, will you? I love that about torpedoes. It's my favorite thing. And then he makes the weird decision to go start shooting HE at me. HE, of all the things, at a light cruiser that you could overmatch the rear of in Citadel. Now, obviously, he might not know that yet, but that should always be your thing. If you got battleship caliber guns, you need to know what you can overmatch, because most cruisers you can overmatch, and there's the Siegfried finally getting that shot to come in and absolutely smash the Odin there. Now, we still have a cruiser coming towards us from mid. We have the Chappie that was last spotted in sea, and he's bugging out. And then, of course, we have an Amagi that is currently spotted in Bravo. And this is a domination. We haven't captured any bases. Now, the Siegfried's going to do the right thing. He's going to get into Charlie and start capturing bases. I'm going to do the other thing, which is I'm going to head straight back towards the enemies and start trying to get in range. It is a Siegfried. So we're going to try to get in range, start trying to burn these guys down. Again, I really, really wish that in this match in particular, I had EOP turned off. I wanted to see, I would have loved to have seen how much damage I get with EOP off in this match, because I actually had a lot of time on targets. Like, we had a lot of shots at the enemies in this match. And we just didn't get any fires. That's the biggest issue with not having, or with having EOP on currently. But as you can see, he just got smashed by the Bismarcks that are back there in the back line. And by the way, I tested out the Bismarck today. It's a thing. It's definitely a thing. I got a video on it. I will bring it out sometime later this week for you guys, as I know you guys love seeing me struggle in a Bismarck. Well, maybe my struggle days are over. Foreshadowing. Do I like it? Questions that need to be answered. But yeah, we're going to be pushing back towards these guys. And while we have the time, might as well do today's trivia question. My trivia question for today is... I don't know yet. I'll think of one in the next couple of minutes. It'll pop up and I'll be like, oh yeah, there you go. So, there are two things that have absolutely, this is something for anybody who's watched some of my older videos, especially one video in particular, my 5,000 subscriber special. There are two things that I say are kind of like my saving grace in this world, that helped me through a lot of hard times. Name those two things. Two things, okay? Two things that helped me get through some really, really hard times in this whole world. All right? It's just two things. So we're going to move forward. The first person to answer the question correctly with both things, I'll pin you. Now, Amagi, we do finally get a fire. We get our second fire in this match. Lovely. And we are hopefully going to finish this guy off in the near future. Hopefully he doesn't start shooting us. But anyway, he's going to turn out. I'm going to go ahead and assume that he's going to beach himself. We're going to go ahead and throw these corpses out there and try to finish him off. But luckily for me, he goes full broadside to those two Bismarcks, and they're going to reach out and touch him. As we get another fire, our RNG is suddenly coming around. We got our third fire, guys. Only hit him 160 shells. But yeah, they do finish him off. Now, I just launched my torpedoes, right? I'm going to completely forget about that in the next few minutes. Now, this battle comes down to the wire in the most epic way possible, right? So we're going to push straight at these guys. We know the Choppy's straight ahead. We know there's a Fiji out there, and I'm kind of measuring this Fiji up. And we're also knowing that there's one battleship left, and it's a Bismarck. There's a lot of Bismarcks out today. Probably because it just got buffed again. Again, like... They have buffed the Bismarck and Vanguard more than any ships in the game. Like, they have been buffed almost every single update since the game came out. Or at least since they were released. Because they weren't there when the game came out. But, yeah, we're going to push in, try to get these. And that's when this Fiji does the unthinkable. He starts coming back towards the base. I was planning to go straight into the base. I didn't want to get into a fight with these guys at the moment. I needed to get in and secure the base. But unfortunately... the Fiji thinks otherwise. Now look at me. I have 50 seconds left on my torpedo strike. I can't launch these torpedoes. But in my head, I have my torpedoes right now. I don't know why. It's just what I was thinking. I was like, okay, get ready, and we're about to come around the corner. He's going to detect us, but if we launch really quick, go ahead and pull the trigger. Oh, God. We don't have torps yet, dummy. Oh, unleash the guns. And so, first shot, absolutely horrendous. And then the Chappie starts shooting at us from over there. And, yeah, unfortunately, we're in the middle of everybody shooting us. Now, we switched to the armor piercing because this guy goes to give us a flat broadside, gets citadeled by the Bismarcks, and then we're going to reach out and citadel him as well because at close range, this is going to hurt. We get one citadel there, and we're going to get loaded again before he can turn all the way away. We finish him off with another citadel and a kill. And then we've got the Chappie out there. We've got armor piercing loaded. We switch back to the HE, but we get the shot off, and we get a pretty decent hit, I believe. No, actually, we didn't get anything. We shattered two and ricocheted two. But, yeah, now that we've got the HE going, it's not very long before this man is done. Like, you're not, especially with EOP. I'm going to be able to rip you apart with EOP. And you can see just every time I hit him is doing significant amounts of damage. There's the fire that we needed, and he immediately damage cons. No big surprise there. But it doesn't really matter at the end of the day because he's not long for this world. Between me and the Bismarcks, he's pretty much toast. Now, I wanted to go into the base here, but this Bismarck's way too close. He's got his sonar running. So again, I can't really do anything about this. I have to bide my time. I've only got 7,600 hit points. I'm waiting for my Bismarcks in the back to get some good shots on this guy. And then I started reversing, thinking about backing out and torping between the islands. Then I realized that's a dumb idea, because that'll get me killed. He kills our Siegfried, this Bismarck does. So then that leaves our Bismarck out there, 2 Bismarcks actually, versus this Bismarck and me. And there is still a cruiser out there chasing those 2 Bismarcks. So it's basically me versus this Bismarck, and because he had me spotted for so friggin' long, because he's inside proxy spotting range, he's gonna get a shot, and he's not gonna hit me, which is surprising. Not gonna hit me, and we get the fire immediately. Now we've got torps on the way. We know he's not running sonar at the moment, so he's not gonna see them until it's late, but there's the shot through the rear that I was talking about. He didn't citadel me, which is good, because he would have killed me, but he did get a good hit on me, and we catch him with the torpedo that gets reduced even though it hit him right on the butt. Like, that literally hit him on the back of his ship and still had torpedo reduction. I don't understand the torpedo reduction in this game. I've had games where, oh, come on, they hit him hard, and we finish him off as we get set on fire with seconds left in the match. We pull this game out. Very close game. But we end up with 106,000 damage. Dreadnought in the light cruiser that is the Ochakov. So hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, punch the like button for me. Leave a comment below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, I will see you in the next video.